Hey, I'm at.
Okay, and who is this to you?
It's my ex-girlfriend.
Okay, and is she not breathing at all?
No, I woke up and she's covered in blood. She's overdosed. She bled out through her nose.
There is something unusual about this 911 call.
Hey, I'm gonna send an ambulance,
Amber?
but they have a 1079.
Amber,
Yeah.
this is Richie.
The caller is on a first-name basis with the dispatcher. That's because the caller, Richie Minton, is a 911 dispatcher himself. He and Amber are colleagues at the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department, and he's about to tell her something shocking.
My girlfriend just committed suicide.
9 hours.
Can you send an ambulance here? Can you send a car over?
Yep, we'll be on our way.
Thanks, Amber.
7 minutes later, Minton calls back. His story has changed dramatically.
Hey, could you send the sergeant? She didn't OD. I just found my gun laying underneath her.
In the second call, Richie says his on and off again girlfriend Molly Young shot herself. Oddly, at first, he hadn't noticed what several experts would later call a large and obvious wound on Molly's head. Richie also says that he slept through the gunshot, even though it was just 4 feet away. What really happened inside that apartment on the morning of March 24th? Molly was the youngest of 3, but everyone who knew her says she was an old soul.
Well, Molly is my youngest daughter, my baby daughter.
As a teen, she struggled with bouts of depression and even a cancer scare. When she started dating Richie Minton, a young Carbondale police dispatcher, the family was divided.
You know, they're early 20s. Most of the guys at her age are not the most responsible. So I thought, oh my gosh, he's got a good job. I was thrilled that she was with him.
When he smiled, it just a feeling, a feeling that he's an evil person.
And that was the first time you met him?
Yeah.
Larry admits maybe he was just being an overprotective dad, but Molly's mom says there were legitimate reasons to disapprove of her daughter's up and down relationship.
I was over at her house one day. She said, Richie just texted me that he's going to kill himself if we don't get back together. I said, he is manipulating you.
Things grew more complicated when Molly learned she was pregnant. She told Richie she didn't feel healthy enough to carry the baby given her recent cancer scare, but her sister Holly says that wasn't the whole story.
She later told me that the real reason was because she did not want him to treat their child the way that he had always treated her. She didn't feel like he was capable of raising a child.
They broke up soon after. Then, just a few days later, on Friday, March 24th, came that awful call.
Amber,
Yeah.
this is Richie. My girlfriend just committed suicide.
When I drove up in the afternoon, there was a state police car in the driveway. And he said, I regret to inform you that your daughter's been killed. And I fell to the floor.
I never knew I was going to run out of time with her. Sorry.
Molly's dad is consumed by grief, but he's also furious when he finds out Richie's colleagues from the Carbondale police allowed him to wash his hands and change his clothes, though they did bring Richie and his roommate Wesley Romack in for questioning. Both had fresh scratches on their backs.
He had too much scratches in the middle of his back. Where are those things from? I have a fairly physical job.
But within hours of Molly's death, Richie retains a lawyer and is never questioned again.
He had 2 6-inch scratches on his side that were fresh.
Where'd they come from?
I don't know. Richie's statement is that he must have gotten those scratches while giving Molly CPR.
Illinois State Police are called in to avoid a conflict of interest. Their investigators also seem to believe things aren't adding up. In an email sent at 10:16 a.m., barely an hour after the 911 call, one sergeant writes, the incident is being investigated as a homicide.
Was Richie Minton a suspect?
Initially, I would say that he was a suspect, yes.
But then, seemingly out of nowhere, Richie is absolved of any involvement after a coroner changes the manner of death to suicide.
I don't believe that for a second.
Molly Young's family says her relationship with Richie Minton was volatile. They say the night Molly died, Richie got very drunk and claimed to be passed out when the gun went off.
Been open knowledge that she's had very suicidal thoughts for quite some time.
But despite the claims Molly killed herself, her family says that's virtually impossible. Molly was right-handed, but the bullet entered the left side of her head. And then there are the text messages. Hours after the shooting, Richie's roommate Wesley Romack tells investigators he worked all night until 5:30 a.m. and at 4:40 a.m. he got a text from a distressed Molly.
Do you know what that text is? It said he had been texting another girl asking her to stay the night. Okay. And that he was so drunk that he couldn't walk.
But police claim another text sent from her phone said, "I think I'm gonna shoot myself in the head, and I'm really, really sorry if you come home to that."
And so at about 7 or 7:30, you go to sleep. What's the next thing that happens after that? I wake up to Richie opening my door and saying, "Molly's dead. Help, I can't find my phone."
Molly's dad, Larry, believes otherwise.
So how do you explain that suicidal text that night that she died?
He did it.
He did what?
Typed her phone in, and my wife types half of my text. He had control of her phone that morning.
So you're saying she didn't send that text?
No.
As part of the Young family's search for answers, Molly's father assembled a committee of civilian investigators, including veteran police officer Charles Lamont, who also happens to be Molly's uncle.
What do you make of the 911 call?
It was staged. It was rehearsed.
Can I go ahead and hang up?
Yeah.
The tone of it is like a guy ordering a pizza, not like a guy who just lost a girlfriend he once claimed to love.
At her funeral, I lost it and jumped on her casket, and my family had to carry me away. And he didn't even come. Is that what she meant to you? Was nothing?
Molly's family has a laundry list of forensic information they claim points to possible foul play, and they can't understand why police aren't more forthcoming. Carbondale police did not return our repeated requests for comment. As of now, it's been a dozen years, and they're still pushing for an official investigation. Until it happens, Molly's sister has one more message for anyone who may have been involved in her sister's death.
I would tell him that one day my dad is gonna take you down. Just wait.